It is another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the three films of June 6, 2008. So we've got three movies to look at here, including a couple of big blockbusters, Kung Fu Panda and You Don't Mess with the Zohan, and also John C. Reilly and Sean William Scott starring in a comedy, The Promotion, or at least I think it's a comedy, but we'll get to those in a moment. But before we do that, let's talk about the biggest new release of the weekend. Let's travel back in time to where Kung Fu Panda nowadays has become one of DreamWorks' most well-known franchises, but let's go back to the beginning of that franchise, back in the summer of 2008. Let's take a look at how the Kung Fu Panda series got started.
From Dreamworks. Thailand is broken out of prison. Our only hope is the Dragon Warrior.
The panda?
We're dead. Jack Black.
What are you gonna do? Sit on me? Don't tempt me. Get ready to feel the thunder!
Dreamworks Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, nowadays we look at Kung Fu Panda as one of DreamWorks' premier franchises, but believe it or not, it's hard to believe there was a time when people heard the idea of Kung Fu Panda starring Jack Black and thought, yeah, this is gonna suck. And believe it or not, that was something that happened back in the day, because Jack Black wasn't the reliable draw that he is nowadays. And DreamWorks, they were still Disney's biggest competitor in terms of the CG animated movies, but everyone looked at the trailers for this and thought it was not going to be that great overall, and then the movie came out, and then it just took everybody completely by surprise by what they saw from it. And it's really hard not to see why, because it is such a good movie. It's set in the version of ancient China populated by anthropomorphic animals, centering on a bumbling giant panda named Po, voiced by Jack Black, who's a kung fu enthusiast living in the Valley of Peace. And when the savage snow leopard Tai Lung, played by Ian McShane, is foretold to escape imprisonment and attack the valley, Po is unwittingly named the Dragon Warrior, a prophesied hero worthy of reading a scroll that has been intended to grant its reader limitless power. And really, the lessons of this movie can really apply to the film success in general here. Like I said before, everyone looked at this and thought that this was not going to play very well. And, of course, in the movie, Jack Black is at first thought to be, accidentally chosen by, what's his name? Come on. Master Oogway. He's chosen by Master Oogway. At first, everyone thinks it's an accident, but, he says there are no accidents. And slowly but surely, as the film progresses, and we learn more about how this really wasn't more of an accident, and how Po was pretty much basically determined to be the Dragon Warrior with everything that he's able to do. Like, there are a lot of good lessons being taught in this movie, too. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. And this is literally the definition of it, don't judge a book by its cover. I like the ideas of the movie's main characters being like the different forms of kung fu. Like you have your mantis, you have your tiger, you have your viper, crane, monkey, all that type of stuff. All voiced by really good actors: Angelina Jolie, Seth Rogen, Lucy Liu, David Cross, Jackie Chan. James Hong playing Po's adopted father is very well done. Even it's really great to see that you don't really question how this person is Po's father. But of course, the later movies will later explain it. But for a film like this, this really does a good job of building this world up and getting you prepared for what would eventually is for the future stories that it will eventually tell. I mean, it's basically a one-story film, but it leaves the door open for what they could do with the films going forward. And of course, they would take advantage of that, because this is really one of DreamWorks' best series overall. The Kung Fu Panda series has been great. Of course, the second one's one of my favorite DreamWorks movies of all time. But This is a really good movie, and it really works because of a lot of elements. The comedy is really funny. Jack Black just fits this role so well. The action sequences are a ton of fun to watch. The animation is incredible to look at. I mean, like I said, it gets better as the series goes on, but there's a lot of things to admire about the movie. Ian McShane is very menacing as a villain. You do get with his backstory overall, like he was supposed to be the Dragon Warrior, but then, this evil power started getting in within him when, the Master Oogway wouldn't give him the opportunity to do that. And I like the fact that they take these opportunities with the storyline here to build up arcs with these characters within. Like, I love how everybody's kind of like, pushed off to the side about Poe at first, but as they go along and they start to realize that he's more and more capable of doing of what he's doing, that they're more behind him, especially that's something that happens as the series goes on. And it's a really well-made film. It's a very entertaining film that really delivers on everything you asked for. Like I said, the comedy is great, the animation works, the voice acting is top-notch, the action sequences are a ton of fun overall. There's really nothing more I can say about this film that hasn't already been said already. It's a really good movie. It's definitely a very entertaining film. It's well worth it. Kung Fu Panda, the first one, really enjoyable film. I really like it a lot. It still holds up after all these years. So that's Kung Fu Panda. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie we have here, and that's Adam Sandler in this year's big summer comedy for him, You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
On June 6th, he's part special agent.
What are you, bionic?
No. I only like the girls. Thanks anyways.
Part stylist.
Have you ever worked with kids before?
Oh, man.
Stay out of my business, Mustafa.
This is not my name.
Was that your feet?
Adam Sandler.
Smell it, now take it. That's for you.
You don't mess with a Zohan.
Of all the Adam Sandler comedies that he has made with this director, Dennis Dugan, this is one of those ones where you think it'd be absolutely horrible, and yet it's probably one of his best overall movies. I can't believe how well this film has actually held up in the years since I've seen it. But yeah, it's actually a pretty fun movie overall. You have Adam Sandler playing an Israeli super soldier and counter-terrorist commando who fakes his own death to pursue his dreams of becoming a hairstylist in the United States while contending with a crooked businessman, a superhuman terrorist arch-rival, and the grudge of a certain taxi driver. And yeah, this is a movie that is incredibly stupid, but the fun kind of stupid. The fun kind of stupid you expect in a good, fun Adam Sandler comedy like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore, or even something like A Big Daddy, Mr. Deeds. Like, this is what I think of when I think of a really fun, silly, stupid Adam Sandler comedy. And it really does work. You really do buy that Adam Sandler is playing this character overall. Yeah, he's not the same ethnicity as an Israeli super soldier should be, but it works. It leads to a lot of funny, silly moments all across the board, and you do really buy into his chemistry with Emmanuel Shariki in the film. And I'm glad to see she's getting more leading roles at this point. John Turturro, who basically is one of my favorite actors. I mean, I praise this guy so much for his work. He's great in the movie. Nick Swartzen actually has a fun little role here. So does Lainey Kazan. The role that I thought probably was not going to hold up well over time, but surprisingly works very well, is the crooked businessman. If you've never seen the movie, take a guess on who the crooked businessman is. You think it's going to be one of these seasoned actors that you've seen many times before. Maybe Jack Nicholson, because he worked with Adam Sandler before on Anger Management, or maybe Gene Hackman, or somebody like that. But nope. It's Michael Buffer, let's get ready to rumble! That guy. Michael Buffer actually has a role in this movie, and it's not him playing the Michael Buffer role. It's him trying to play a character, and shocker of all shockers, he actually kind of makes it work. I was really shocked that his role in here actually does kind of work. He actually is a fun villain to watch overall. I mean, he's kind of a lackluster villain, but the fact that it's just Michael Buffer, the guy who's made a living off of, saying 5 words all throughout his life. Like, the fact that he's given more of a role to do in this, I mean, it's pretty hilarious and stupid, but it works. It works to the film's advantage. I mean, the comedy sequences are very stylish and cool. I love this idea that Adam Sandler can do all these crazy things with his body parts, like the thing with his feet and all that. Like that scene in the trailer. That scene surprisingly works very well. It's a very fun comedy. It's a film that knows it's very stupid. It doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense, but as long as it can make you laugh and laugh hard, It works. I mean, that's what you get when you have a script by Robert Smigel and Judd Apatow, two great comedy writers in general. I mean, what more can I say, man? This is a really fun movie, man. I had a lot of fun watching this again. It really does hold up. If you go into it with the right mindset, knowing that you're going to get a very stupid, silly comedy, you can have a real good time with it. I know I did. I may be the only person in the world that thinks that, but this is a really funny movie, man. I really enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I was going to. You don't mess with the Zohan. Definitely check that one out. So with that said, let us move on to the last one we have here, and that's John C. Reilly and Sean William Scott starring in the comedy The Promotion.
This summer.
You're bogus.
I'm bogus?
Come on! Come on!
What, are you wearing tap shoes?
Sean William Scott.
I want to be the primary breadwinner.
Female lions do the hunting.
I'm not a lion. I'm a guy.
John C. Reilly.
We're all just out here trying to get some food. Sometimes we bump into each other.
The Promotion.
At least I assume it's a comedy because, yeah, this is a film that definitely really does not feel like it's trying to be a comedy, even though it has a plot that's very similar to what Will Ferrell would do with one of his comedies, you know. You have a look at the quest for the American dream, where you have two grocery store managers, Sean William Scott and John C. Reilly, vying for a promotion. But, as you see, Sean William Scott and John C. Reilly are joined by Jenna Fisher, Lily Taylor's also in here, Gail Bellows from Ally McBeal, Fred Armisen. This was written and directed by the guy who wrote one of my favorite underrated Nicolas Cage movies, The Weatherman, Stephen Conrad. And yeah, at times the movie can be a comedy and fun overall, but when it tries to take itself way too seriously, and it happens a lot, it really kind of ruins the ebb and flow of the movie. The movie isn't terrible. It just can't find a direction where it wants to go. Does it want to be the comedy that this is trying to be sold as, you know? Does it want to be like a Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly comedy, like the one that's going to show up here in a couple weeks? Or does it want to be a drama? Like, it can't really balance it out very well. And I think that really is the main problem with the film overall, is that it can't really balance what it wants to be. Does it want to be a comedy? Does it want to be a drama? It's really too hard to figure out what it is. It's not, like I said, it's not a bad movie, but it's definitely a film that really is lost in what it's trying to accomplish here. Like, what's the end game here? What am I supposed to take away from it? And I just don't... And I mean, it's, like I said, it's not a bad movie, but it's a film that definitely has its priorities out of whack here. It can't really decide where it wants to go. So, very mixed opinion on it. I like it, but at the same time, I wish I would have a balance of which direction they wanted to take it. Does it want to be a dark comedy? Does it want to be a serious film? What does it want to be? And it can't really figure out what it wants to be, so mixed opinion, but I'm leaning more towards saying give it a watch, mostly because of Sean William Scott and John C. Reilly. But other than that, though, I wouldn't rush out to see it if I were you. And so with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we'll take a look at two more big summer blockbusters, including the second film of the MCU, Edward Norton starring as the Incredible Hulk, and also M. Night Shyamalan's first rated-R movie. And that's not just me saying it. The marketing for this movie all over was talking about it as M. Night Shyamalan's first rated-R movie, and that's Mark Wahlberg in The Happening, along with Zooey Deschanel, and I think you can get a grasp of what that movie is if you have not heard of it already. But if you haven't heard it already, you'll be fairly disappointed by it, per se. But it is one of those movies that's worth talking about. And we'll delve into those coming up on the show tomorrow. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and hit the playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And also, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification button, and the bell, because you get updates on when new videos come out. We do post new videos here every day. So with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time. And until then, as always, take care.